What's up everybody, Void here, and today I'm going to be talking about Multiversus. I'm really excited to finally be able to do that, and I feel like one of the most important questions that you'll be having is, who should I main? Now, with the current roster in Multiversus, there is about 15 characters. It's not a really large amount, and I think that's kind of great to determine who you would want to pick first. There's a good amount of characters that fit the bill for each archetype, so yeah, let's go over them. Now, the way I'll be classifying characters is going to be one of 5 archetypes: Rushdown, Zoner, All Around, Tank, and Support. So if you know what type of class you like playing in other games, you'll pretty much find the character you want to play. So the first archetype I'll go over is Rushdown. I feel like these characters are the coolest. I honestly think everybody's going to have fun with them, and you're probably not going to have as much fun against them because they're just sick. The first one I'll talk about is HARLEY. Harley Quinn is honestly a pretty insane character. She has a decent amount of like tools to control space, not so much just attacking you, where she has Bat Plush Bomb, she has movement, but most importantly, and this is going to be the crazy thing, is she has this up special where she does a upwards bat swing. It's really strong, really big, and this solidifies HARLEY as being like one of the big rushdown characters of the game. Next up on the rushdowns is going to be ARYA Stark. Now, ARYA Stark, I think, is one of the coolest characters in Platform Fighter. She has a lot of mobility with both her knife throw, even her dagger slash. So knife throw, when you throw the knife, it can land on somebody and you can teleport to them and then start comboing them off of the knife throw. It's super crazy. It's really good in a team atmosphere. And not only that, her up special, she does a knife swipe overhead, and if you hit somebody, you move up with them. So it leads to really great ladder combos. She can end up killing people really early off the top because she can move with them to the top when you combine the knife throw and the dagger slash. So if you like combo characters, play ARYA. This is also a note to myself. I feel like she's my kind of character. And now the last character I consider a rushdown is actually the newest addition to the game, Taz. Now, Taz, the Tasmanian Devil, this guy's nuts. He's really fast. His attacks overall are just really solid. But one of the funniest things to me is his NATO. His NATO is really strong. It's really active, and while ARYA and HARLEY kill really early off the top, I feel like Taz will be really good at killing off the side. So I would like to see a lot of Taz during this alpha, as honestly, I think he's really good. So next up is going to be the all-rounders. These guys provide a decent amount of everything to every team. I feel like you're not really lacking if you have a team with an all-rounder on it, because yeah, they just do everything. Now first up is going to be Shaggy. Shaggy has to be one of the coolest characters to me, especially because he just charges up. He gets Ultra Instinct, and when he's in Ultra Instinct, he actually has hit confirms that are really, really good. He can do this side attack into up special, and it can kill a lot of people. It does mad damage, and not only that, just the fact that he has to charge makes people have to approach. He has a projectile where he throws a sandwich. He does everything. Like, this isn't even talking about his normals. His normals are insane, so I'd say try out Shaggy. It's worth your time, trust me. Next up on the all-rounders is going to be Jake. Jake has kind of what I say the most range in the game. He has the potential most range in the game. A lot of his attacks start stretching, kind of just like what Jake does. And it makes it to where you can kind of get sniped by a lot of Jake's attacks if you're not paying attention. Jake also has a lot of transforms. This side special is a really good burst option. It's hard to challenge it, because it's pretty fast. It's hard to really understand when to attack. His down special transforms into a house or a similar projectile, and then he slams the ground. Kirby Rock. Ooh. But most importantly, Jake just has really big normals. He has decent neutral with both his range and kind of like his specials. And I also think his down air attack is just insane. He jumps on a skateboard, and if he lands on you, he starts bouncing on you, and it's really good for edge guarding because you can fast fall during it. I think that move's insane. It might be the best downer in the game. Next up on the all-rounders for me is Batman. Now, Batman provides a lot of utility to the team, mainly with the Batarang. Batarang's a really good projectile. You can even have the Bat Bomb equipped to it, and overall, he has a lot of mobility. He's hard to catch, and I honestly don't have a lot to say about him. He wasn't super popular in the previous beta, but here's the thing. As it progressed, a lot of people kept saying there was these insane Batman players that existed. And unfortunately, I never ran into one. So we're gonna have to be on the lookout for the Batmans, because we know what Batman with prep time looks like. Another thing to note, Batman can always see invisible enemies, and I think that's just really big, while also having smoke bomb to make his own team invisible. So really annoying to fight against. I'm not looking forward to seeing more Batmans around. Now, fourth on the all-rounder list is going to be Bugs Bunny. Now, Bugs Bunny, he actually has everything. Bugs has projectiles, where he has a safe that drops and you can hit the safe to move it as a moving projectile. He has a gigantic Acme rocket. It's really hard to dodge. It's pretty slow, but it's really big. And not only that, he has a tunnel that he can create on the ground. It makes it to where you can move a lot through the map. And his normals are insane. Swing Bada Bada, his up air, is just an amazing move. This move is kind of equatable to Harley's and ARYA's, where it's really good at killing off the top, really good hitbox. And having that on like more of an all-roundy character instead of more of the rushdowny character, I think is insane. He's a great character. Last up on the all-rounder list is going to be Finn. Now, Finn, I think, is a character where he can control the ground really well due to one of his passives. Finn can move while charging attacks on the ground, but his attacks only gain power if he moves. I think that's still really good, because you end up being pretty much an active force on the ground, and a lot of characters can be really aerial, but you can always meet him on the ground, see what happens, and just work from there. Finn also, he has this mechanic where he gets gold the more times like the opponents get hit, and you can go shopping. You can go shopping, use this gold to buy like certain upgrades, and when he has these upgrades, it's like really terrifying. So you don't want to let Finn get these upgrades. Not only that, he has this backpack move, which this backpack move is a thing like Link Up B, but in a team environment without like team attack, you know, you can combo off of a really easy multi-hitting move like that. Really great character to have on a team. I think there's a lot of really good Finn players out there. So yeah, that's about it for the all-rounders. Next archetype is going to be tanks. Tanks are pretty solid overall when you have really good survivability in a 2v2 format. It just makes it to where your opponents kind of have to be a little more desperate with their options and go for the kills. It's a lot harder to like cheese the tanks, and I think that's one of the biggest aspects. So the first tank, the best utility tank of the game, Wonder Woman. Now, Wonder Woman, honestly, I don't even feel like she's a tank half the time. She's a very great supporty character with amazing survivability. So she has this lasso that can hit people and pull your teammate in. She has this charge that can create a shield, and you can like hold a shield. It's kind of like a wall. But the more important things, she also does it with her up special. She has this move where she can dash to her teammate, both if her teammate's in danger and if she's in danger. She can dash to her teammate, cleanses the teammate, so no more debuffs, and you give both characters armor. And I think that move is just ridiculous. It's insane, because not only is it mobility to your teammate, you give them both armor, so you can fight together, and that's really good. But she also has a move to pull her teammate to her. So she has two things that both grant mobility to the overall team, in my opinion. And I think that, along with everything else she has, is just really good. Her normals aren't like the craziest, big, fast normals, but they are really solid on a character like her. Second tank is going to be Superman. He's tough. He's really hard to kill. He's not super fast, but all of his grounded normals, you said it says charge and armored. He can threaten you really, really scarily when it comes to using these ground attacks. As if he's charging a move, you know, it's Superman. He's gonna duff the hell out of you. So Superman, being what he is, to have like these armored chargeable moves on the ground is really good, while he also has a laser. He has laser vision, and that way, you know, if you're trying to just camp out Superman, he can still combat you for just like trying to run away. He's a lot more of like a traditional tank. He's down to just like take the hits and, you know, just try to work his way in, but he has something to work with even if that's not working out. Now, the last character on the tank list is going to be Garnet. Now, Garnet, not a really popular character, however, I think she's really good. She has this neutral special, Stronger Than You. Garnet creates a singing barrier that deals stop debuff to enemy projectiles. So the fact that you can't just throw projectiles and try to, hope it works out is pretty big. Not only that, when the barrier persists, you end up gaining buffs, which 1, a speed buff, and 2, armor break to melee attacks. That's really good both for her and for her teammates. She has a projectile with the rocket fist, which is also really good. Outside of that, her normals are really big. She's a big character. She's really hard to kill, and she has something to force you to approach her. So Garnet, again, I think Garnet and the other 2 tanks, I think they're all really good. So here we're going to go on to the support characters. Support characters, to me, they can usually still scrap. They can still hold their own, but they do have a lot of aspects more so about helping out their teammate, or, they're not going to be the one securing everything, but they will help you every step of the way. So first on the list is going to be REINDOG. REINDOG, an actual support character. He has a leash where you connect it to your ally, right? And it does damage for people that are in between it, but you can press the input to pull your ally back. So if your ally gets hit by something that'll kill them and you press the leash again, you pull them back. So you can reactively save teammates. I think that's just an amazing move. REINDOG has a lot of projectile support where you can have a charging crystal that just shoots lightning. You can just throw fireballs, which these fireballs are really, really good. And not only that, if you have a teammate where your teammate's just not that great at getting in, you can turn yourself into an item and have your teammate throw you at the opponent. A really good projectile support all around while also having the leash. So REINDOG is pretty much your typical support character. And not only that, REINDOG's normals are also really solid. I've died really early to this character, so don't just think of him as a support, just very, very strong support aspects. Next on the support list is going to be Steven. Steven, I think, is really solid. I think he has a lot of untapped potential, and a lot of that comes from the fact that Steven can create terrain. So Steven's up special, he dashes up or he leaves a platform, and just that alone, there's a lot of things that you can do regarding that. Not only that, it can create a wall with his side special, so Steven can just create a lot of terrain, and it makes it to where you can combo off this terrain really, really well, or it just gives your team a lot of safety. Whichever works, it's just really solid overall to have creatable terrain. Steven also has Watermelon Steven, which Watermelon Steven kind of creates a third fighter for the team, and it's really tough when you're looking at 2 fighters and a third one comes out of nowhere. So Steven himself, he has really solid attacks. I don't think he's going to be the one to usually get the kills, but it's not that he can't stand his own ground. And lastly, he does have this bubble move, which this bubble move, it makes it to where if you hit somebody enough times, they end up getting bubbled and they're just out of the fight. So you don't have to worry about them at all. Teammate can't interact with them, you can interact with them, and you can just have a forced 2v1 for a period of time. That's pretty insane. A big thing with Steven, though, is his passive. When Steven dodges, he creates a shield on him and his ally that acts as armor. The armor can absorb 3 hits, but its durability is shared between Steven and his ally. This passive is really good. This gives him a lot of support capabilities because all he needs to do is dodge, and suddenly his teammate has 3 hits of armor. And if Steven sits in the back, he's just chilling. It might be shared between them, but if you're not fighting both of them constantly, then you just have to constantly fight a 3 armored teammate, and that's really scary. Last on the list for the supports is going to be VELMA. So VELMA's a lot more of a traditional support where she has a lot of buffs and debuffs and even healing to an extent. Her neutral special, she gives a motivational speech. She's just, it's funny because you just see her saying words, but these words are like a threat and a help to the teammate too. So you gotta watch out for VELMA just talking about stuff. Not only that, she has a charge that grants her and her ally armor. She has this goop that you can lay on the ground for a debuff. And she also has an educated buff for the 5-head people where you make her and her teammate literally get like bigger heads because they're educated and you have cooldowns reduced. It's pretty sick. It's pretty sick. Not just that, VELMA kind of has a Phoenix Righty mechanic where you can collect evidence, and when you do collect enough evidence, you can call the police on your opponent. And this police car ends up having a big CC, and they just get stuck in the police car. You can attack them unlike Steven's bubble, and it's just a really big game changer. You can probably get a few off in a match. So VELMA, I think, probably provides the most like CC-esque support when it comes to Multiversus. And last but not least, we have the zoners. Now, to me, the zoners just control a lot of space with projectiles. They're not really trying to interact, more so trying to keep you away from them. And the list is pretty small. If you notice, we've gone through a lot of characters. So yeah, the first and last character I consider a zoner, Tom and Jerry. Now, Tom and Jerry, they have a lot of capabilities when it comes to zoning. A big part, you have a Jerry slingshot. You also have the tennis balls that end up being active after you end up slingshotting Jerry, which they pretty much go about full screen, if not farther, if you reflect it with the racket. Fishing rod can be pretty good if you want to just like leave it out, make sure people can't get past a certain spot. You also have a trap that you can put on the ground, kind of have ground zone control, make it so people have to jump over it. And this dynamite is the big zoning thing for Tom and Jerry, along with everything else. But the dynamite, when you drop it, Tom can hit it back with his racket to control a lot of space. It's really good with one of Tom's big perks, which makes the one dynamite turn to 3, and it makes his zoning capabilities just insane. Now, to me, Tom is the only true zoner in the entire game, but there are still characters with zoning capabilities. Bugs has really big projectiles. REINDOG and Superman also have pretty far projectiles, and then Shaggy and Batman have pretty consistent projectiles. My personal picks from each archetype would be Shaggy or Bugs from the all-rounders, REINDOG for the support, Superman for the tanks, ARYA for the assassins, and of course, Tom and Jerry if you need a zoner. So yeah, that's kind of it. I hope I gave you a nice little intro to each of the characters and the role that they fulfill in the team when it comes to Multiversus. If you want to see more, there's a lot more content to come, so stay tuned. And of course, thank you to Warner Bros. Games for providing me with access to the closed alpha. Peace.